Check us out on YouTube at Idaho Farm Boy. See you there. Smash that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and like the video. This is a Farm Boys podcast with farmer and social media influencer Brian Brown. You can find his content on social media at Briansfarmingvideos.
My name is Brian Brown. I'm a farmer in southern Ohio, and we raise corn, soybeans, and wheat. Just row crops at the moment. Yep.
And then what kind of, you're a big influencer on YouTube and Instagram. Tell us about your social media.
Yeah, in 2018, I was kind of playing around on the internet and watching some other bloggers in different genres, and I kind of wanted to try to do what they were doing. And I have a lot of hobbies. I have not a whole lot of time for many of them. So like initially, I kind of wanted to do more of an outdoorsy style channel, like backpacking, camping, hunting, stuff like that, but don't have time to do it. So eventually that turned into, it started off, I was actually going to practice getting better at vlogging for that by filming farm stuff, because I do that all the time. And then I started posting it, people started watching it. I kind of realized that I might have something here. It's going to be a lot easier to make content on something I do every day versus something I can do like 5 times a year. And then I also realized people I know pretty well don't know a whole lot about what I do. And if they directly know a farmer and they still don't understand what he does, or how disconnected is everybody else that has never interacted with someone in the space. So I just kind of kept going, and people kept watching, and it started gaining traction, and very easy to remain motivated when your channel's growing. So I just kept doing it.
Awesome. So when was it that you knew, you started getting some followers, but when was it that you knew that you had something? Like, did you just have a immense following just all of a sudden add to you, like 1,000 in a day, or was there anything crazy like that happened?
Yeah, so I started doing the channel in the spring, and that's when it was kind of more outdoors focused. And I remember thinking, I got first video is absolutely garbage. I mean, it was done with an iPhone, and my phone lens was all scratched up anyway, so I'm blurry in it. The audio is terrible, and I made this crappy video, and I thought as soon as I clicked upload, the views would just start rolling in. I remember clicking upload, and then nothing, like no views. And then I remember coming back, it's still no views. Like a day later, oh, there might be more to this than I thought. And then I started realizing that just because you click upload, you're a small fish in a big pond, and there's no force driving people to you. I just kind of brushed it off, kept trying to stay motivated to do it. And then I remember I posted a lot of wheat harvest videos, and they got like 400 or 500 views. I thought that was awesome, but I still wasn't. I mean, I think I had 300 or 400 subscribers, and most of those were people that I knew. Like I shared the channel on my personal Facebook page, so got a lot of family and friends that clicked on it, right off the rip. But then it didn't really do anything after that. And I think it was like 2 or 3 days into fall harvest, and I made up my mind to get better at YouTube. I was going to post a video every day during harvest. And I took that very literal. Like, even if we weren't harvesting and it rained out, I would make some kind of content to post onto YouTube. It's just kind of a challenge I did to myself. And like second or third video, I don't remember what kind of view count it got. It was probably not many, but I grew like 1,000 subscribers in like 2 days or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's different. That's interesting. And I kind of thought then that maybe I could open that app, and I probably got addicted to it, which is probably not the healthiest thing in the world, but I'd open that app like every few minutes, see the numbers go up and up and up. Like, it wasn't explosive growth, but for me, it felt awesome. Like, it felt like explosive growth. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm going to buy a video, like an actual, like a camera for this instead of using my phone. And I remember thinking then, it's like, if I can pay for this camera, I'll call that a win. And I think there's no instruction manual, as you probably know, with YouTube. So I hit all the criteria to get monetized, and I just assumed that they started sending you a check in the mail. I didn't realize you had to apply to be in the influencer program or affiliate program or whatever they call it. So, I'm looking at all these views and stuff. And at that point, I was starting to get like 10 to 20,000 video, and I was doing it every day. So, I mean, my monthly view count started, kind of getting higher and higher, like to 1 million views, but I wasn't monetized. I didn't understand how to do that. And then I finally figured that out and got accepted into the affiliate program. And I think my first day's earnings was more than the camera was worth. And at that point, I was kind of...
That is awesome. Wow. That inspires me, because as I told you, we're not monetized on here by any means. So that's very inspiring to know that you can pay for that camera with your first day. So the big question that everybody wants to know is, do you make more money farming, or do you make more money being social media influencer?
It's kind of a loaded question, because I mean, I take a salary off from the farm, and it's not a lot. Like, I live on is what I pull out of the farm, and everything else gets reinvested into the farm. If I cash out today, it's a lot more than So yes and no. Like our monthly spending money is predominantly social media money, but I also reinvest most farm money back in farm, or at this point, just try to keep bills paid. So it's
That
kind of yes and no. I mean, don't get me
no,
wrong. The social media money has got you very lucrative, definitely worth time. But I also can't quit my day job to just do social media, because my whole social media press is about my day. I
right.
always get a kick out of, like I said, I still have several hobbies. See all these people go have a video. Like, I quit my job and now we're just going to focus more time on the content. Oh, that'd be great. But I still like my job, and my whole content's about my job. So
Right.
you know.
That is awesome. I hope, man, I hope other people get inspired like I feel right now, because that, I mean, that's amazing to know that you can do that. And you're right. I've had his name's Kip Tom. He's a former ambassador to. He's a big farmer in Indiana. And we always talk about how people don't understand what it takes for farming, but you're giving them that view. You're giving them that insight into, hey, in Southern Ohio, this is what you have to do to make ends meet. And I love your content. I think it's awesome. I love how you incorporate your family, your dad, your brother, your wife are all big stars on there. How do they, or let's go back, how did they feel about when you started doing this?
Yeah, so at the time when I started, it was just my dad, my dad and I, and I never really told anybody that I was going to start doing it. To be honest, I was very embarrassed. I mean, I think that you talk to a lot of people, you talk to anybody that's done social media. The first time you're in a crowd talking to yourself, camera, maybe it's not so much now because a lot of kids are growing up seeing people doing it. But in 2018, I felt like a dork. I mean, I felt so stupid walking around talking to myself, and I was embarrassed. I was very embarrassed to let my dad see me doing it. And I remember we were changing the oil on the combine right before wheat harvest, and I'm trying to very quietly describe what's happening. Either I was on top of the combine in the engine bay, or he was on top of it and I was underneath of it, or something. And I was trying to very quietly say what was happening and describe what we were doing without him hearing. And I just remember him saying, What are you talking to? What are you doing?" And then eventually he didn't have any animosity towards it. I think he thought it was pretty neat. And then my brother, he actually, I think some of the social media stuff what actually drew him into starting to farm. People would ask him questions about what we were doing on the farm, see it on the YouTube page, and then he kind of started taking a little bit more and more interest. So I think that was probably a little bit of a help for there. And then my wife, I think she thought it was another hobby of mine that would fade pretty quickly. So like I said, I kind of jump in and out of things. And then once we started, actually started getting more serious, started making money and getting brand deals and stuff like that, I think she realized it was kind of a little bit more important than, I think she thought it was a huge waste of time.
That is so interesting that your brother got more into farming, because my thought was people who are out of the ag industry have never seen this or watched this. I wonder how many are thinking to themselves, man, I really want to be a farmer watching his content. So that is incredible that it brought your brother closer to the farm because of your content.
These are my words, definitely not his. I don't know if he feels that way, but I mean, I just remember before we were doing the YouTube, I mean, he had another job and he was, pretty invested into it. And there really wasn't a lot of questions about what was going on. And then, we'd get together at family functions after that and start asking questions. Then about a year and a half after we started the channel, he started farming.
Man, I mean, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I love your whole story there. So your wife has now obviously adopted it. So when you talk about brand deals, how does that work? Do people just literally watch your videos, reach out to you? How do the brand deals happen?
Sometimes, I mean, there's different kinds. A lot of the ag companies, some of those come with relationships. Some of them come from trade shows. I mean, that's where we met, was at a trade show. I think I see some younger kids carrying around a video camera like I do, and I think they think you're just going to get free stuff because you go to a trade show and you have a video camera. That's not the case. I mean, I approach every trade show as a farmer because that's what I am. I'm a farmer, but I'm also carrying a camera. So, like, if I do an interview at a trade show, and I just came back from Farm Progress Show and was told this by a guy I was interviewing. He said, "Man, that was a lot more conversation, a lot less interview like we usually do." And I was like, "Well, that's because I'm not a reporter for a magazine. I'm a farmer, and I just want to know stuff that farmers know." And then you start to develop those relationships, and then most of the time after you get to know someone, they might approach you. I've approached companies about something I was interested in. I've been told no, and I've been told yes. So it just kind of depends. And then there's other 8 times, like there's a lot of companies that will sponsor a video that have nothing to do with ag. Usually that's through an ad agency. So and that's usually an agency. Just they always start off their email with, "We love your content." I'm like, "Yeah, you've never seen it," but I was in a demographic that you were looking for to fill an ad.
I think it's pretty neat. I mean, when I saw Factor on there, all of a sudden you're talking about Factor meals. I'm like, whoa, that just got real and serious. I mean, that's a big deal.
Well,
I think
that would be one of those companies that is worth it. But But funny story about them. I started using them before I was ever working.
Oh,
Because I seen it as like, oh man, I come home late sometimes and everybody will be in bed, throw that in the microwave and have a meal, which that's what I was using it as. And I actually reached out to them to see if they'd work with me. I was like, hey, will you guys just give me some meals and I'll talk about them? And I never heard anything. Then 6 months later, I mean, a lot of companies won't interact. So, I mean, your email is just probably getting lost in a big folder full of emails. But then an agency reached out. We've been working with them now for almost 2 years.
that is awesome. That is awesome. That gives people like me a little bit of hope. I'm not looking to, make it big or do anything crazy like that, but I'd take some free Factor meals for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think social media doing this has made you a better farmer?
I was actually telling someone this Farm Progress show. I do, because it's very easy to get into the flow of things and just not really think about it. You're just doing a task, and this not even just farming anything. But when you have to explain it to someone, I think it makes you understand what you're explaining a lot better, because obviously you want to know that you're telling them the right things. So yeah, I think it does. I think it makes me have to stop and think about why we're doing things, and not just go through the day-to-day motions of my job.
So I would assume with your following, there's a lot of these equipment manufacturers, maybe even dealers, that are really wanting you to be a part of their program, to say, hey, we want you to run this and talk about it and promote us, basically.
Yeah, that happens some. I mean, it's not like there's someone knocking on the door every day, but definitely had a few interactions like that. We have a few companies that we're pretty closely with that we've had a relationship with now for a few years. Yep.
Cool. So what do you think's been your most viral video, and why do you think that's been the most viral out of all your years? Is there one that just stands out in your mind, like, man, that one just blew up, and maybe you don't know why?
Well, there's two, and I think I know one.
Okay.
There's one where my wife thumbnail of the picture, and I mean, I think my wife's a very beautiful lady,
Yeah.
and that video did very well. It's my most viewed video by a lot. There's nothing in that video that's any different from any other one. But yeah, I think that is 100% why that video did well. The second one is probably my second or third most viewed video, and it is actually a podcast. So I used to do a podcast, and this particular video I decided to post on the farm channel because it was about my dad. It was basically my dad's life story, and I mean, I figured I also had not a lot of stuff going on the farm channel, but I mean, most of the people on the farm channel really like what dad has to say. He seems to be pretty well respected on the channel, anyways. So I posted that. It's like 3.5 hour long video, and like I think my average video is probably 50 to 100,000 views, and that video got up to like 750 or 800,000 views. And it just kept going and going and going. Still gets a decent amount of views, and it's 3 or 4 years old now. And I think that was just a long form story that people were interested. It also had a great thumbnail. I mean, thumbnails are what people see. That's what's going to lure them in. I mean, the thumbnail and the title. That particular video had I can't remember what the title was, but it was like 50 years in agriculture, or a lifetime farming, or something like that. And had a picture of dad standing beside his first tractor bot, and then had a picture of him as an older man still beside that same tractor in the same spot on our home farm. So I think I mean, that's kind of hooked people, I think.
Those are two great tips. The thumbnail, and then if you have a good looking wife, put her on there, right? that's if you could give one other tip. So you see farmers out there that are trying to do what you do. What's one other tip without your secret sauce that you would give somebody trying to do that?
I think especially in the beginning, confidence. I mean, like I said, when I first started doing it, the first time I went to a trade show, especially people everywhere, and you're walking around carrying this camera. And finally, I was like, man, none of these people know me. I don't know them. I'm probably never going to see any of them again. I'm just going to walk out here with the most confidence I can muster. I'm going to say, hell with it. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to own it. And that's what I did. And I think if you can make yourself seem confident and sure of yourself and full of energy, I think that is a good thing for make sure that the viewers are entertained, or make sure that they want to watch. I know if you click on a channel, I mean, it might be a younger channel, it might be an older channel. There's not a lot of popular, successful channels where someone's very timid to talk. I think that has a lot to do with it, how you present yourself. I mean, you don't have to be fake. I mean, I also see channels that are very fake, and the person, they don't talk like that. They might be successful. I'm not an actor to do that, but I would suggest being true to yourself and being.
That's good advice. So one last question on the social media front. Is there anybody you've wanted to collaborate with, or even a company that you just haven't been able to, or what would be your dream collaboration?
I don't know. I've collaborated with a few people, and it was pretty organic because we knew each other somewhat. So I've done a collaboration with Zach Johnson, the Millennial Farmer. That particular circumstance, I was on his podcast. We met each other multiple times at different shows and seemed to click pretty well together. So we did a little collab there, and I mean, that was a good time. Been on I mean, I've collaborated with a lot of people. I mean, I spent the last 3 days with Larson's at the farm show, and these are all people that I know and like hang out with at a show. So as far as someone else that I haven't got a chance to do that with yet, I don't know. I've been pretty fortunate in meeting most of them. I don't know. I guess I can't think of any at the moment, but I would be open to open to any of them.
Yeah. So, okay, I lied. I'm sorry. That brings up one more question. You get noticed. You get noticed, especially at farm shows, I'm sure. Like, what is that like? Because I've been around you on the farm, and you are, I wouldn't call you extrovert. You're just down to earth. You know, you're not chatting with everybody. I mean, you're you. You do you. So it seems like that could be a little uncomfortable, but you're probably used to it now. What's that like?
Half the time I don't know what to say. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I enjoy talking to people. I mean, once you get past like the initial, like, oh, but I mean, they're farmers, and if they're not farmers, they are obviously want to talk to you. So it's not like they're gonna, be a butthead to you. I've never had anyone come up to me and say the things I've seen in YouTube comments, but it's different. I don't know how, like you say, I'm not the greatest with conversation, so I don't know what to say half the time, and I hope I don't come off like I'm trying to ignore someone. I don't know what to talk about. So usually we almost always end up talking about the weather and how the crop. I mean, almost every time.
Two safe issues. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's usually the first thing they ask. And then like when kids come up, I don't know how to talk to kids and keep them, what to say half the time. But no, I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people. But yeah, I've got pretty used to it as far as, walk shows, and I just look at it as a good time to interact with people.
You said you get negative comments. What kind of negative comments do you get? I mean, you're farming. What kind of negativity could you possibly get?
Oh, there's always some. It cracks me up whenever you'll see like the same person comment in every video a negative comment. I'm like, man, I'm living rent free in your head. Like, I don't know why you're bothering yourself to do this, but hey, you're leaving me a comment and watching the video, so thanks. There's always someone that's going to tell you you're doing it wrong. There's always someone that's going to tell you you're a wimp. I don't know. If my dad would have kicked my ass if I'd have carried around the camera and done what you're doing. Well, your dad sounds like a butthead. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
That or you'll get people talking about living on government money and free handouts and all this crap. I mean, it's just there are people that are trolls. I'm sure you'll have trolls in your videos too. So
yeah. It just farming is just so pure. Like I grew up on a farm, southern Idaho. I just loved it, and it's just so pure to me that, man, that's crazy. You get some hate. So let's move on to farming here. So you said you farm row crops. So do you mind sharing how many acres do you guys farm? Or approximately, you don't have to give me exact, but how big of farmers are you guys?
So we have 3,500 acres what we go. Yep.
Okay. And so that's corn, soybeans, wheat?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What kind of equipment do you guys, for people who don't know, that haven't seen this, what kind of equipment do you run on your farm?
So we have mostly Fendt now. We have 2 Fendt tractors and a Fendt combine, and then we have a couple John Deere tractors still, and we have a little bit of everything. We have an Oxbow sprayer that's kind of different, I guess. So yeah, a little bit of everything, but predominantly the newer items are AGCO product.
Okay. Were you a different brand before you switched to AGCO?
Yeah, when I was growing up, we were all John Deere, and I don't know, I was probably a little snobbish. I thought everything had to be John Deere when I was a kid because that's what my dad ran. That's all we had. I think we had one Magnum tractor and it bush hogged. That was the only thing it ever did. But then when I got a little older, we switched to Case IH products. I think dealers will get competitive in the area, and at the time you could buy a Case tractor. A lot you could buy a John tractor. So we had 3 Case tractors for a while and got along okay with those, and then we just kind of started switching to AGCO. We had Claas combines at the time, and our Claas dealer was our AGCO dealer, and we had great service there. We liked our salesman pretty well, and everything worked out to where we ended up with a few Challenger tractors, Claas combine. The Claas's our Claas dealer went out. So we ended up with a Gleaner combine. Then we had an Ideal combine. Challengers have all turned into Fendt.
So put you on the spot here. Do you as of right now prefer Fendt, or is it more of a price thing?
I like the Fendt tractors pretty well. Yeah, I prefer them. I think I did get a chance to run a new John Deere 8R at the farm show, tillage demos. That was the first time I've been in a new John Deere in a while, and I mean it's a great tractor. I think they're all pretty well on par with being good machines. The massage seat was a nice feature. I wish the Fendt had that, but other than that, they're all pretty good machines. I think it's 100% what you're used to for the most part, and what you have for service in your area.
It seems like the younger generation, which I'm calling you and below, is is more colorblind than maybe the older generation. And I know that people have their reasons of, well, these guys stuck by me, I'm never gonna be not loyal, whatever. But it sure seems like people are much more becoming colorblind to say, okay, I need the best service at the best price, and that's what really matters.
Yeah, and I think some manufacturers, it's just, I don't know. To me, it seems like some manufacturers have priced themselves ridiculously high, which they're all super expensive. Like, I can't believe what a combine costs these days, or a tractor. Like, when tractors get to $1,000 power, I thought that ridiculous. Hell, they've passed that pretty quickly. So I don't know. It's we shop around. I mean, I like Fendt tractors, but if our dealer came in and it was substantially more beneficial to go one way, and I thought we could get good service, which I think we could, we would go that way.
So with social media, we're going to bring social media kind of back into this. Has your planning for planting and harvest setups or at all, has that changed the way you farm because of video, because of social media?
You mean as far as what equipment we're using, or like how we structure a day?
Yeah, kind of how you structure a day. You know, are you thinking, you know what, I'd love to get video of us combining today? Or yeah, I mean, has it affected any way that you farm?
Not really. I mean, we've like last year I planted with a tractor and planter that was from Massey Ferguson. That was their marketing machine. So I mean, we had to do like a photo shoot one day, which didn't take super long. In fact, it really didn't affect the planting any. They took all the stuff and I just planted. As far as like throughout the day, I might get out and like set up a camera to take a shot. I mean, but you're talking minutes maybe. Try not to let it influence how the day goes. Try to be as efficient of a farmer as I can. I've always thought that if I could find someone that would work peanuts and then film me all day, that'd be great. But I haven't found that person. They all want money. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, funny. Yeah,
finance
yeah.
instead of peanuts.
I was gonna say your wife, but you want her in front of the camera, not behind the camera. Yeah. So what do you think about you go to a lot of farm shows,
Yeah.
obviously. What do you think about the technology advancement that ag has made? I think a lot of people have no idea that ag technology is, even in some cases, ahead of automobile technology.
Some of it scares me. Like I was actually on a podcast at the farm show talking about autonomy. When I thought of it, and I think this person was surprised. But I was like, I'm scared to death of it. It's like you're taking the one job that all of us enjoy doing, putting it on a computer, which all of us dislike doing, is playing on the computer. But I mean, most of the stuff is very neat to see. Some of it just scares me, like the autonomy. I'm not looking forward to the day whenever it's autonomously ran. I'm not anti-progress though, so usually we're pretty early adopters of technology. Planting technology, it's very fun to go see like what kind of advances we can see there. This year we were kind of looking at sprayers, so we were looking at a lot of spray technology, and it's just crazy to see some of the things we can do. But one thing I've noticed with most technologies, they are fantastic when they're working, and they are super frustrating when they're not. So sometimes I think maybe we should just keep it more simple, but it's still really interesting to see.
Do you guys use AI on your farm at all?
Not currently. We did last year have an AI soft program analyzing drone scouting. It was cost prohibitive this year for us to pay for that service.
Do you see with the rise of AI and how smart it's becoming, do you see that it's going to be a big factor in farming for everyone?
Yeah, it's another one of the things that scares me, because you can make AI do a lot of stuff, and you can make it misrepresent a lot of stuff if you want it to. So that kind of scares me a little bit. But yeah, I think it'll be actually a part of it.
So let's look about 5 years down the road. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see ag in 5 years from now?
I'd say in 5 years we'll be fairly close to where we are now. I mean, obviously, some trade agreements and things like that. Who knows? That seems like that could change day to day anymore. But I don't see that there'll be a whole lot of big changes in the next 5 years, as far as like if you were to look at how a large farm operates, it being much different. It's actually having a discussion about autonomy and whatnot, and a person I was discussing this with was talking more about using remote control instead of autonomy, and I hadn't really discussed that much. But they were thinking like a bank of operators sitting in a building that could remote into your tractor and run them, and you could basically rent an operator for it. I don't know how that's probably a ways, maybe not. I think it would be closer to being ready though, because I think they already have the ability to remote into most tractors now.
Right. That makes me think of like the Air Force flying those drones from how many thousands miles away, right? Yeah, that's crazy. So what do you think? You've been in farming pretty much your whole life, right? What do you find is the biggest misconception that somebody who's seen your videos and only knows farming from your videos, what's the biggest misconception that you see for people that are not in the ag industry?
Several. I mean, I don't understand how someone can think that farmers don't care about the environment. We make our living off the environment. I mean, like if this whole ship sinks, I mean, it's going to affect us too. So I think that's a pretty big misconception. I don't think anyone is out here just purposely destroying the environment in the ag space. I think we're all doing what we think is right or what we think, what we think is okay. So that would be one. And then the other one, I mean, there's a lot of hate about how the government farming and the government subsidy programs and all that. And I have a very different take on it. I think the government subsidies are how the government buys influence. I mean, people don't think of it like that, but how does the government know how to work a trade deal? Well, they know how to work a trade deal because they're bribing you to go into the FSA office to red field. I mean, they know they can get a rough idea how many bushels they're going to have coming in next year for that kind of stuff based on that. And well, guess what? To have crop insurance, you have to register register with the government your crop acreage, which is why they subsidize crop insurance. So I think that's a huge misconception. We are not mailbox farmers. I wish the government completely out of ag. If they were, to be able to charge more money for my crops, food might cost more, but it would be more beneficial for farming, I think.
See, and that's one of the misconceptions that I hear out there is, that food's so expensive at the grocery store now, farmers must be making a killing when
Not
it's
making any
exactly
money.
opposite, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think crop prices today are pretty similar to what they were in the 70s and 80s. The only thing we have changed is the ability to grow more bushels on those acres and be more efficient. We have not changed how much we're getting paid on a bushel of corn, really. I mean, there's ebb and flows in it, but it's been fairly similar price-wise most of my whole life and most of my dad's, I believe.
Yeah, and I think one of the things people don't realize is, equipment keeps going up and it never goes back down, but the crop prices can go up and down. So your input costs are always going to be way high, regardless of what the price of the crops are actually bringing into the farm. Well, Brian, I didn't want to take too much more than 30 minutes. I appreciate your time. Sorry we went over a little bit there.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.